What's up, Raiders? Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to talk about something I started not too long ago. I have found somebody who has apparently done it better than I have. So this was my first attempt to an all rares, one team for every dungeon. Okay, so I did this video about 2 weeks ago. I was on the test server. I had limited amount of time to do so. I didn't want to completely take apart all my champions to try and do it. But what I had proposed was that we can most likely make it work. It's simply a question of stats, so the right speed and whatnot. So this player reached out not too long ago, and he was saying, like, how come you're getting smaller hits than I am? Like, the bosses are hitting me a lot harder than they are hitting you. So what's going on? So then we went over the stats. We were trying to figure out, is it due to masteries? Did he have the decreased attack? Like, what was the reason for this? Turns out he was on stage 20 and I was on stage 17, okay? So the reason I did it on stage 17 is because it had roughly 100% success rate. Now, he attempted it on the stage 20s, and let me confirm that he has been able to do it. Okay, so Viniosity over here is part of the Virtue clan. They do have a Discord server. Not sure if they're recruiting, but if you guys ever want to check them out, a big shout out goes to him and to them. So in today's video, or in this video rather, we're going to go over each dungeon. We're going to do a run. While it runs, I'm going to talk about the champions, okay? So let's get going, because some of these can actually be very, very long. And unfortunately, we're not at a point where this is 100% success rate. It's normal, okay? So here's the team. When I tried it myself, I had an apothecary lead. I had the Bellower and 3 Coldheart, okay? I'd assumed that eventually this might work as well, but he went for a little bit more defensive, okay? So this is why some of the runs are actually quite long. But anyway, let's give this a shot. Like I said, it is not 100% success rate. Whether this fails or not is not exactly what we're trying to prove today. We're simply trying to show that it is somewhat doable, okay? So bear with me as I go over each champion. I do have some pictures here for you guys, which is basically the gear and the masteries. So this is the Bellower in a stun set. Here are the masteries. Fearsome Presence, the tier 6 mastery, right? I think is what it's called, which makes a lot of sense, right? You want this guy to land the stuns because obviously this is your best CC option. Now, this guy has defense percent gloves, a defense percent chest, speed boots. Obviously, here's where it is very interesting. We have a defense ring, defense ring, defense amulet, and defense banner. That's right. So he was able to make it work to have just over 200 accuracy with basically the gear. Okay, so I think this is the crucial point here, is that my Bellower still is running an accuracy banner. But if you are able to hit your threshold of like 200 while using substats, right? So you can kind of afford to then get that defense banner, which is a huge chunk of defense to add on a champion that usually doesn't have a lot to start with, right? And so the masteries here is pretty standard. Okay, so now let's move on to the veteran here. Here are the gear and masteries. Now, I think this guy is, or probably was, used against the clan boss. Okay, so he is running lifesteal as well as 2 pieces of speed. He is using crit damage gloves, 6-star, very nice, as well as 6-star defense percent chest. Then we've got defense ring, crit damage amulet, and we've got accuracy banner. This guy has some pretty interesting stats overall, has a lot of defense to start with, and is also a great choice for this because it's our basically 50% decreased attack. Our Bellower is 25% decreased attack as well as 30% decreased defense, right? So our veteran adds a little bit more survivability and also giving us that speed aura. Okay, masteries, we have War Master. Obviously, this is important or crucial if you want to basically use him against the clan boss. Okay, so right now we're on the boss, the Ice Golem. We got there in what, under 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half. So here we're going to run into some problems. We are expecting some of our champions to go down, but that's why we have our Reliquary Tender. They're going to bring them back up. okay? So it's not the end of the world, but it's also because why it doesn't work sometimes, right? Like we're going to trigger too many Frigid Vengeances, and then we're going to be taking obviously a couple big hits back to back, therefore we're going to be going down, okay? Right there, like boom. This is a big problem. So I'm pretty sure this one would be a wipe. Again, which is all right. That was the whole point of showcasing these, is that we're still not at a point where this is perfect or like 100% success rate. So we'll see just if we kind of can recover from this. We never know. I have screenshots of this working, so I'll show you guys after. Don't worry too much. But I assume this one is going to fail. Okay, so let's get going, or keep going rather, with the Reliquary Tender. Sorry, right here. So our Reliquary Tender is running a Stalwart set. So again, this is not something that I would have thought of trying out, but definitely a good plan. Since it's our support champion and you kind of know that she's going to be taking a lot of hits from these, which are all AoEs, right? The bosses are basically always doing AoEs. It's a great plan to add this on your support champions, okay? Also, the masteries are not even done. He is saying he's going to go for the Bulwark Mastery in the tier 6 defense tree. So something to keep in mind, okay? So he has room for improvement. But this champion is using defense percent gloves and chests, speed boots, of course. Then we've got defense ring flat, and then we've got HP amulet, and then we've got a defense banner, okay? So again, here we are with the run that's probably going to fail. Our veteran is going down right there. So, okay, it is what it is, but I'll show you guys the screenshots after. Let's keep moving with the other dungeons. Perhaps they work a little bit better. The Spider's Den, of course, we want to see how well that is going to work. So here we go. Same team, and let's see what happens. Okay. We'll watch it a little bit so that it gets started, and then I'll show you guys the builds of the Coldhearts, which are very similar, but not exactly identical. And there's also a few things you want to keep in mind, is that obviously a certain champion has to have the lowest HP if you want him to be targeted first, like right here with our veteran, right? So by also having him in a lifesteal set, he is being targeted, so as long as the other champions are full health, because he's in the lead, and then he's going to be able to heal himself back up. Boom, right there. So this is kind of like our everlasting tank, right? Which is a great way to do it. And like I said, that speed aura is helping as well in speeding up the whole thing. Also ensuring that our speedy Coldhearts can maintain the turn meter down on the Spider. We also need a little bit of luck for everything to line up, especially against the Fire Knight, which we'll see after. Anyway, okay, so let's let this go. In the meantime, let us start looking at the Coldhearts. Here's number 1 with her gear and then her masteries. So what's important here? Well, we have, of course, some crit damage gloves, because we do want that Heart Seeker to hit as hard as possible. We have HP percent chest, speed boots. Then we have defense for the ring, crit damage for the amulet, and we have a defense for the banner. We do have a flawless execution right here for the tier 6 mastery to get a little bit more crit damage. Really good stats overall. Enough accuracy as well. Once again, not using the accuracy banner because he was able to fit it on the rest of his gear, which is very good. I'm still running accuracy banners, so I gotta switch mine up. This is a great way to do it. Very well done. I would assume if eventually you can fit a toxic set on your Coldhearts, might get even a little bit more damage or more poison ticks on perhaps the Ice Golem boss, which might make all this a little bit easier. Okay, so let's look at now the second Coldheart, which is right here. So very similar once again in terms of stats, just the right amount of crit rate. Actually, no, yeah, we're good. 70, we're good. Then a decent amount of crit damage. Once again, we are using on this one crit damage percent gloves. We have an HP chest. We have speed boots. Then we have HP ring, crit damage amulet, and we have an HP banner. So again here, no accuracy banner. He was able to make it work and put it on the rest of his gear. Also, we have Giant Slayer as our tier 6 mastery. Perhaps this champion was used in the clan boss before. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a wipe here as well. Understandable. Once again, we have very limited data on how well this is going to work. Okay, so if anything, I will show you guys the screenshots. It has worked. Obviously, I wouldn't be making this video if it hadn't worked before, but I'm glad we're also seeing some fails. Okay, like I said, it is showing to us that we have to improve on this, but if anything, it works to some extent. it will probably work with a very high success rate on level 17s or perhaps below level 20s, okay? Level 20 is a long shot for all rares. Not easy to accomplish, and the best part is that this guy is a free-to-play player, okay? So yeah, you got to get lucky, you got to get the champions. I know you guys all called this out, 2 Coldhearts, Bellower, Veteran, Reliquary Tender. I get this, but guys, the All Rares tournament level 20 is ultra endgame stuff. Like you can't expect to have this, you know, within a couple of weeks or a couple of months. I have the champions myself, but I'm still nowhere close to having all the right gear for me to pull this off. So again, it's just going to take a little bit more time, but if anything, we have a somewhat working model, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, okay? So let me pull up the pictures for you guys that has the runs with success, obviously, right? This will prove my point today. This is, sorry, I gotta find it on my computer right now. Dungeon builds right here. So we're on dragon right now, right? So here's the dragon, okay? So 3 minutes and 15 seconds for a completed run. This is the same team. You see the Reliquary Tender is not 60 yet. This is his account, obviously, not making this up. Then we have the, what did we try? The Ice Golem. Look at this right here, 9 minutes and 58 seconds. So you see that you're kind of expecting your champions to die, and you can see in the background that basically only the Reliquary Tender and the Veteran are still up, okay? So not an easy fight. We got to get lucky with these poison ticks, which does not always happen, which is why I say maybe a toxic set on the 2 Coldhearts eventually. Crazy toxic sets might really help out. And then we have the Spider, which also failed on this attempt, but that's all right. We see here our Veteran is down in the background. 3 minutes is pretty decent for this run, right? And our Reliquary Tender here, once again, not fully maxed out. And finally, let's look at the Dragon, which is not the Dragon. We saw that one. Let's look at the Fire Knight is what we want to see. Here we go. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's actually pretty good as well. And everybody looks like they're up in the back. Again, here I assume you got to get lucky. You got to get those Heart Seekers to land at the right time. But again, it is doable, and we'll do the Fire Knight run right when this one is finished, hoping that this one works out. But so far, everything is looking good, right? We do have pretty important debuffs on the champion. We had the decreased defense, decreased attack. We're going to hope that the Veteran here can reapply it, help us survive those couple of hits, but looks like we're good. One more big Heart Seeker, and I think we're gonna be in business, right? Can we get lucky? There we go. Oh, almost, but still pretty close. Of course, it'd be even better if we could have the 60% decreased defense, but we do not have a lot of options on Void champions to do this, okay? And having it all Voids obviously means we don't suffer the affinity weakness at any given point, which is really important. I did the same thing when I tried to build my team. I wanted to go as much Void champions as possible because I really think it makes it, you know, that much more stable in the long run. So if anything, what we lack here is simply better gear. A maxed out Reliquary Tender, for instance, having her masteries completely done as well, and a little bit of luck. And like I said, I really think the toxic sets might help in the long run on the 2 Coldhearts. But I don't have that gear. I just don't have that kind of toxic sets where I could pull it off of also not using accuracy banners. I think that's a big thing here that I'm noticing. We don't have accuracy banners, right? For the Bellower and the 2 Coldhearts, that's huge. Fitting defense here will really, really help you survive the waves, number one, but also the bosses, okay? So let's watch this one in detail. So far, we're doing pretty good. We have a lot of control, right? With our stun from the Bellower, our turn meter reduction from the Coldhearts. Like I said, we have decreased attack from the Bellower, block skills, or block cooldown skills, rather is how it's called. Block debuffs, or block buffs, sorry, which this one is that from the Veteran? That's the Veteran, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then we got a Reliquary Tender to keep us going, as well as removing the debuffs on ourselves, healing, and reviving. So we've got a pretty solid team overall. If anything, what we're really lacking here is perhaps increased defense, right? But that is very hard to find. I looked at other options. Seducer here in the lead could be an option. We would have block buffs or block debuffs, if I'm not mistaken, as well as 30% increased defense, right? So maybe somebody, or maybe eventually we can try that as well. But I'm glad to see that whatever I had proposed about 2 weeks ago is actually somewhat doable, okay? So we're doing pretty good on the waves, right? Going to be roughly 2 minutes and 15 seconds maybe to clear all these waves, and then we're going to see how lucky we can get with the boss. Veteran hits really hard. That skill right there, the somewhat AoE, is really strong. I think I covered him a little bit in some of the best rare nukers. Also a great champion to have for your clan boss early on if you do not have any other decrease attack A1 champions. So mine is on the list of champions to build. He is going to be somewhat useful for my faction wars, so I'm also building him for there. We didn't get lucky with that Heart Seeker, so we're going to have to go for a round there. Yeah, so this is dangerous, see? If we're lucky, everything lines up right off the first round, but in this case, we did not get it. Can we get lucky here with that Coldheart? Nope. So we got at least the heal reduction on the boss. This is important. That's why cold hearts are also really good here. Let's see if we can bring this one back up on time. I'd like for at least 2 of these runs to work, right? The Ice Golem did not. The Spider did. Oh, we got lucky there. We got a turn meter reduction. Okay, can we get the upper hand? Good. Another turn meter reduction there. We're doing good. We do always have that 5% chance that the turn meter reduction will not work. Even on cold hearts, if they have above 200 or 220 accuracy, it may not happen. So that is always a problem. There's not much we can do about that, right? But right there, decreased attack. See how important that was? Our cold hearts did not die on a hit that would have otherwise probably caused somewhat of a wipe, okay? So that extra or that 50% decreased attack from Veteran is actually really important. I don't think that the Bellower is enough with the 25%. And like I said, that 30% decreased defense, it's borderline, but so far it's working out. Okay, let's see if we can get lucky with these hits right here. Heart Seeker, we did not get lucky, so that might be a problem. Can we get the second one? Yes, it worked. Did you see? Even with 1 stack of shield on the boss, that turn meter reduction still worked. That is very important. It's like the last hit actually counts to apply the debuffs or have the effects on the boss. But anyway, okay. Almost done. I think we're going to get this one in a reasonable amount of time for an all rares team. Obviously, right there, 1 big hit. We need 1 more. Then we'll be good. We got some poisons as well. Don't underestimate the poisons. 2 cold hearts together work really well. There we go. Boom, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And you get an ancient shard. Good for you. So, guys, I showed you everything I have for now. It is still not perfect, but we really wanted to present this, and a huge shout out goes to Viniosity for testing it. I find it so funny that we didn't even realize at first that he was doing stage 20s and I was on stage 17, and then he was trying to figure out why his teams weren't working. Anyway, so all to say that it is doable. I want to see some of you guys come up with better. Okay, so let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.